Hello students, welcome to this PG class of Industrial Pharmacognosy, and today we will be studying the patent filing process. So I'll give you a step-by-step guidance on how the patent filing process moves. So I'll explain step 1, step 2, step 3 in this process, in this sequence. I'll explain you the different steps which are involved. I'll just give you only an overview of the different steps involved, whereas in my subsequent videos I'll take up each and every step and we will discuss in detail about each and every step separately in a separate video. So now we will look into the step-by-step process which is involved in patent filing and patent granting. So the first definitely you have to start with a filing of your patent application, which can be done both through e-filing, which is through a computerized software system, and or which is that this e-filing method is highly encouraged because it is absolutely paper free and is very convenient to handle. And you can, whatever patent filing fees is applicable, you can pay it with your credit card, debit card, or with your UPI, and the payment goes to Bharat Kosh. Whereas the other traditional method is paper filing. You have to take out the prescribed forms, you have to fill them up physically, or you take a print of those forms and you can send it by speed post or registered post, or you can even deposit in person at the concerned patent office counter. And the fees, applicable fees, has to be paid by demand draft, or maybe if you are depositing in person at the counter, you can deposit the cash also at the cash counter of the concerned patent office. So however, e-filing is highly encouraged and highly preferred, and if you go for paper filing, you will have to paying 10% extra fees than the standard fees what has been set. Beyond that, 10% extra you have to pay if you are going for paper filing. So at the initial stage, form 1 and form 2 has to be filled up. There are other forms like form 3 and form 5 are also there, which has to be filled, but it is not mandatory to fill form 3 and 5 at the initial stage, because you will get sufficient time to fill up those forms. But form 1 and 2 are mandatory forms to be filled up. Anyway, we will discuss about in detail about these forms, what this form 1 and 2 consist of, what does form 3 and 5 consist of, in a separate video, where we'll take up when each and every step and discuss in detail. So as of now, the first step consists of e-filing or paper filing. E-filing is highly encouraged, which is guided through a software system. Once your application has been filed, it goes for preliminary screening. By preliminary screening, we only just mean superficial checking, like anybody who has gone for physical filing, then an application number has to be given to that application. Whereas if you go for e-filing, the application number, it gets automatically generated by the software, and things which are checked, like whether your invention has any relevance with atomic energy or not, because if any relevance with atomic energy is found, then it takes a different route, the course of action changes. It is also determined to which field of invention your application belongs, so that in the near future, when time comes, that application can be allotted to a suitable patent examiner who is an expert person in that particular field of invention. So if you follow e-filing, this screening and classification takes place automatically during your filing of your application, but these things has to be done particularly for those who go for paper filing. So only preliminary screening is done, no detailed checking of the content of your application or studying about the subject matter of your application. All those things are not done here. So once the screening and the classification is over, by classification it only means that whether it has any relevance with atomic energy or not, or to which field of invention does it belong, so that in the near future, so prior suitable allotment to a expert patent examiner who is an expert in that particular field of invention can be done. So when we are done with this process, we will move to the next one, where your application in digital form is stored in the patent server for almost 18 months. That's the standard protocol. There are diversion and exceptions available, but we will not discuss those. We will discuss only the standard protocol. And other things we will discuss in detail separately in a separate video. So your data in your application in digital form is stored in this patent office server, and it is not available in the public domain, and it is kept confidential. Nobody has access to this to the information stored in the server. And the application number or the patent application number that was given to you, you will not be able to track anything on the internet by using that application number, because nothing will be showing no relevance, no backup data you will get by using that application number, because everything has been kept confidential and is stored in the servers, patent office servers, for 18 months. After the expiry of 18 months, of course the question will come why this is done, but all these things we will understand when we discuss each and every step in detail. This is just an overview of the patent filing and granting process. So after the expiry of 18 months, what happens is your application, consisting of the applicant's name, inventor's name, the title of the application and the abstract of your application, is published in the official journal of the patent office. So once this 18 months lock period or period is expired, your application first time comes in the public domain in the form of a publication in the official journal of the patent office. You don't have to buy this journal. This is available free of cost in the patent office website. You can download it, and once this publication takes place, now you can start tracking your application number with the help of your application number that was allotted to you at the initial stage. You can start tracking your application, and if you use that application number on the internet, something will show up. And once this publication takes place in the official journal, from that very period, pre-grant opposition also starts, because any person who has any objection to that application, or if any person thinks that this invention was actually carried by somebody else, or anybody, any kind of opposition if anybody has, then by filling the prescribed format, by submitting suitable evidences, and by paying the prescribed fees, one can file an opposition. So there is a time limit for that, so that we will discuss later on. So as soon as the publication appears, as soon as your patent application is published in this official journal, the pre-grant opposition phase starts. And you can see from this diagram, people can file opposition, file objections in prescribed format by paying the prescribed fees, and then those are taken care of. Next we move to once your application is published in the patent office, it becomes eligible for examination. But to make it eligible for examination, or to make it queued up in the examination lineup, so what you have to do is you have to file form 18. So you have to fill up form 18 and you have to pay the prescribed fees. However, this form 18 and fees you can pay well in advance also at the time of submitting the application, but it's not mandatory. But if you have if you are ready, if you have money, you can pay this payment, and you can fill up form 18 at the very beginning itself, so that you don't have to face any kind of headache later on. But if you are shortage of money, and if you are handling many patent applications at a time, then you can wait for 18 months expiry period. After this 18 months of expiry period, where the data is stored in the server as I showed here, once this 18 months expiry period is over, it gets published in this journal. Once it gets published, then only it gets officially eligible for the purpose of examination. And then you have to fill up this form 18, you have to pay the prescribed fees, and then it is queued up in the examination line, and it is allocated to a suitable examiner who is an expert person in that particular field of invention. And then this patent examiner who is going to carry out the examination. However, if you are in a hurry, if you want an express processing, then you may have to pay some extra payment, and if you pay some extra fees, then your application will be expedited, your examination process will be expedited, and that will be handled with top priority, and will be examined faster compared to others if you have paid extra fees, or if you have requested for expedited examination process. So through this process, you actually you are requesting for to the patent office that my application may be examined, and this request is only considered when you fill up the suitable form, and only when you pay the prescribed fees. So once you are done with the form and the fees of for the request of examination, it is allotted to a suitable examiner who is an expert person in that particular invention, and the examination starts. And after the examination, the patent examiner generates the first examination report. so which definitely will contain some objections, and here you can see this in this slide. Some objections are raised, and you will be given an opportunity to provide your justification or clarifications against those objections in writing. So first, this writing symbol indicates that the first step will be to provide in writing suitable clarification or justification to the objections raised. If by reading your clarifications or justifications the patent examiner is satisfied, convinced, then the patent examiner can straight away grant you the patent. But if still not satisfied or only partially satisfied, then the examiner will invite you. You will be invited for a face-to-face discussion with the examiner or with the controller through a video conferencing mode. However, this is subjected to payment also. So after the video conferencing, you are able to satisfy the examiner's query, and if the examiner is convinced, then the examiner will grant you the patent. If not convinced, your patent gets rejected. So only two possibilities: either grant or reject, and you will get plenty of opportunities to satisfy the examiner, first of all through writing, by giving your clarifications against the objections raised, and if still not satisfied, definitely you will be called for a face-to-face meeting through a video conferencing. So once your patent is granted, the certificate is not sent to you by speed post or something like that. Once your patent is granted, it is uploaded in the patent website, and from that website you can download your certificate, and your grant of patent is from the date on which you have actually filed the application. So if you go back to our first slide, if you come back to this first slide, the date on which you actually did these operations like e-filing, the date on which you actually submitted your application form, from that date you will be granted the patent. So no matter how much time it takes to carry out all these processes, the patent will be granted from the date on which you have actually submitted your application. So once the patent is granted, there is still scope for once the patent is granted, there is still scope for opposition, and this scope for opposition is for 1 year. After the grant of your patent, up to 1 year, people can still file opposition with suitable evidences in prescribed format by paying the prescribed fees, and those oppositions are taken care of. And if sufficient strength or merit is found in the opposition, then there is still a possibility that your patent can be revoked. Revoked means your patent can be cancelled. So basically there are two types of opposition. Pre-grant opposition is carried out as soon as the patent is published in the official journal, and the post-grant opposition is carried out that after the grant of your patent up to 1 year. So we'll take care of all these oppositions later on separately. And then once your patent has been granted, you have to keep renewing your patent every year, so that your patent is active and it doesn't get lapsed. So if you fail to renew, your patent protection lapses. So we'll have a quick fire revision once again, so that we don't miss out any step. I'll go through a quick fire revision round. First, you have to start with the filing of your application. It is highly encouraged that you go for e-filing process, which is very convenient, paper-free job. You don't have to handle so many documents, everything. The software will guide you through the submission process, and the chances of committing any mistake is very less, because you cannot submit anything you cannot miss out any signature or anything like that, because the software will strictly guide you through the submission process. And all payments you can do digitally, and all payments will be transferred to Bharat Kosh. Next, preliminary screening is done. This is very basically important for those who go for paper filing, because an acknowledgement number has to be given. Those papers has to be digitized, and any relevance to atomic energy is there or not in the invention, because then it will take a different course of action. That is determined. Your patent, whether you have filed your patent in international other abroad country, that is also taken care of. So these basic checks are done. No detailed study about the invention is not done here. After we are done with these basic checks, it is stored in the server for 18 months in digital form, and no track of this information can be found on the internet. By using your application number, you cannot track the information. Nobody has access to these information. After the expiry of 18 months, your application is published in the patent office journal, and from the date on which it publishes, from that very date people can see this, read this. You can start tracking your application through the application number also, and people can file opposition to it also by submitting their request, opposition request in suitable form, in prescribed form, by paying the prescribed fees, and they have to submit suitable evidences, and then they are taken care of in a separate way. Once your application is published, you become eligible for getting your application examined by a patent examiner. For that you have to fill up form number 18, and then you have to pay the prescribed fees. What is the fees that you have to pay, that I will discuss separately, because each and every slide we will discuss separately in detail in my subsequent videos. Here we are just trying to understand the overview of the patent filing and granting process. So once you are done with filling up the forms and paying the payment for examination, your application gets queued up for the examination, and then it is allotted to a suitable patent examiner who is an expert in that particular field of invention in which your patent in which